Alright, today we are going to talk about Laravel Herd. Laravel Herd is an application that provides development environment for Laravel only in macOS right now. This application is developed by Beyond Code, who also developed awesome products like Tinkerwell, Hello, and Dev Engine. Laravel Herd was announced in last Laracon US and I haven't tried it yet. So I will tinker with it for the first time while recording this video. Before jumping into Laravel Herd, let me tell you what I use right now for my local development. Currently I use Laravel Valet, which is a Laravel's first-party CLI application for Laravel development in macOS. I am quite happy with Valet. To me, it's already one of the fastest local development environment for Laravel. It's not a Dockerized environment, so all the things you need, the dependencies, are installed in your own local machine. You need to install all those dependencies by yourself. Besides, as Valet is a CLI application, it doesn't have any graphical user interface out of the box. But you can switch PHP version, can do some other things like starting, stopping, restarting, parking path, linking projects, etc. via the Valet CLI. Interestingly, there is another application called PHP-Monitor, which has a graphical user interface, using which you can manage Valet. So in summary, my current development environment is a combination of Laravel Valet and PHP-Monitor, and it works great. I'm happy with the experience already. Let me show you how it works together. For example, I already started PHP-Monitor, and as you can see in the menu bar, there is an icon called PHP 8.2, which means the current version that I'm using. And using this interface, I can see what is the status of my Valet, which services are running, and what is the current PHP version. For example, right now I have my blog in my local machine and it is not running because Valet is not started. Let me start Valet using Valet start command. Valet is starting, the DNS forwarder is started, then the PHP is started, and then it will start the Nginx, I believe. So now all the services are started. If I reload the page, as you can see, my blog is up and running in my local machine. And it is running using PHP 7.2, and as you can see, all the services are now running. If I want to switch to PHP 8.1, I can do it from here. So if I just click on the PHP 8.1 option, now it is taking time. So now as you can see, it switched to 8.1, and if I reload the page, now it is working with PHP 8.1, and if I go to the terminal and I say PHP-v, it is PHP 8.1. And if I go back to PHP 2 again, now if I run PHP-v, it is PHP 8.2. So using this interface, I can easily switch between PHP versions. And for example, here if I see the domain list, I can see all the domains that is set up in my local machine. So I would say it is quite convenient. Now we have a new application called Laravel Herd that promises for faster and more hassle-free experience. For example, in their homepage, it is saying that you don't have to manage any dependencies and it is the fastest environment, which means it is faster than Valet. As I said, Valet is already one of the fastest environment for Laravel development, and it is saying that it is faster, and it is saying that easy manage of multiple version of PHP, which makes sense. I think it would be similar to this kind of interface in Valet. So now to install Laravel Herd in my computer, I will click on this download button and I believe it will download it. It is downloaded, and if I go to the documentation, it includes everything that needs to get started for Laravel development, including PHP, Nginx, and DNS forwarder. Which means while using Valet, during the installation, I had to install PHP by myself and maybe Nginx too. But if you use Herd, then you don't have to install PHP, Nginx, and DNS forwarder by yourself. Herd will do all the dependencies by itself. This is what it is saying in the homepage, that zero dependencies. So you don't have to manage any dependencies. If we go to the installation page, it is saying that we have to download from the website, which is what we already did. And then after downloading, we need to open it, we need to install it. And let's do this. For example, here I have it. So I will click on here. I will put it to my application folder. I think it is installed. So now it is saying once Herd is installed, we will have PHP, Laravel, and Composer binaries from your terminal. So before moving forward, I will stop Valet. I don't know whether it will conflict with Herd or not, but I just want to stop Valet so it doesn't conflict with the other environment. So it is saying that all the domain I already have set up in Valet, Herd will read it from there, and it will also migrate all those domain in Herd. So as I already had my Valet set up, so I think Herd can read those. So I already stopped my Valet, and then I will also quit this PHP-Monitor. I don't need this because Herd should already have all those sort of things. And if I now run Herd, open it, it is saying getting started. I need to give my password, and then don't worry, you can always restart Valet manually via Valet start in your terminal. So which means if we want to get back to Valet, then it is always possible, and it will migrate all the domain from the Valet. Let's do it. It is downloading PHP 8.2. So we don't have to download PHP for ourselves. It is downloading for itself. As I said, Beyond Code also have other products, so it is suggesting those. I will go for automatically launch Herd, and let's get started. So we are redirected back to the documentation, which is where we already were. So now as you can see, we have an icon in our menu bar, which is H icon, which means the Herd, and we have option similar like we saw in PHP-Monitor, and we have option to use PHP 8.2 because we don't have any other version right now. And I can stop all the services. It is stopped. I can start all the services. It is start. If I reload this page, will it work? It still works. And as you can see, my Valet, I stopped Valet for sure, but I'm stopping it again in case I didn't stop correctly. So stopped, and still as you can see the site is running, which is great. So now in terms of migration from Valet to Herd was quite smooth. Now I want to see what are the sites available. For example, parked paths. I can see the parked paths from, where is it? There is a folder called Herd directory. But what if I just click here and go to settings? What are the sites here? So I have all the sites that I had. And if I want to use something else in, okay, I don't have any other version. So if I go to manage PHP versions, here it is saying that I can use PHP version 8.1. So I have to do something like Herd use 8.2, which is a similar command like Valet. We had Valet use 8.2, 8.1, it works. So it is the same thing. And if I just write Herd use 8.1, because we are already using 8.2, if I do this, it's saying that the command Herd is not found. Why is that? If I go to the installation process again, did I miss anything? It is saying that if you are using fish shell, you need to run the following command to add Herd binaries to your path. But what if I don't use fish shell? I use G shell. Let me add those. cd, I'm in the home path, beam.j-shrc. If I go here, if I go at the bottom, then I can see that it has already added Herd. So it should be there already. Okay, so maybe it is not executed yet. I mean, the JSRC may be not loaded yet. So if we run source JSHRC, then Herd use 8.1, now it works. So as you can see, once we installed Herd, my terminal was already running. So even though Herd changed the JSHRC, it was not reloaded. That's why it was not. So either you have to close the terminal, or you can run source.jshrc, and then it will reload all the configuration that is available in that file. So now as you can see, we have switched to PHP 8.1, and if I go here, I can see that use PHP 8.1. So we are using PHP 8.1. If I run something like PHP-V, it is saying that I'm using PHP 8.1, which is great, and it works exactly like Laravel Valet. If I run the test, I have some test in my project. So if I go to my project again, if I run the test, how does it behave? So it took 2.83 seconds to run the test. And if we go to the home page of Laravel Herd, using Herd, you can immediately enjoy 35% faster test and 100% faster web request. I don't know whether it is faster than Valet. Maybe it is faster. It can be. But I mean, as I said, Valet was already faster, so I cannot notice any dramatical change here. It's just working, which is already a great experience, I would say. And then about the testing, as I run using Herd, and it is taking 2.8 seconds. There is no serious test here, so it should take less time, but it is taking 2.8 seconds. I don't know how much it would have taken with Valet. We can try it later, but let's go to the documentation again and let's see what else we have. So as it is saying, every PHP version has their own php.ini file. I think it was similar during the Valet setup, and it is saying if we change the .ini file, we need to restart it from here. So from here we have to stop and start again, or it has the similar commands like Valet restart. We have hard restart, hard start. So I can see it is already quicker than Valet. So once we did Valet restart, it was taking far longer time than this. So it is quicker. It makes sense. Securing the site. So if we want HTTPS, it is possible using Herd, which is great, which is also possible using Valet. Sharing the site, which is basically either using Expose or maybe ngrok, makes sense. It is similar as Valet. Shortcuts. So we had PHP Artisan Tinker, but now it is saying that we can also use Herd Tinker, H-E-R-D, Tinker. Something is wrong. Okay, so I am inside Herd Tinker in a different terminal window. I don't know why. I will exit. Okay, I close this one and then I try again. Interestingly enough, it is always opening a new window. And if I write PHP Artisan Tinker, it opens in the same window, which is great. So I will not use Herd Tinker right now. So it was saying that there is a convenient action button in the site settings. If we go to settings, and then we have sites, and here we have Larablog, which is the current site that I'm working on. If I click on this one, it is supposed to open Tinker. Okay, it opened Tinker. I think it is mostly important for Tinkerwell integration. I don't have Tinkerwell in my machine, so if you had Tinkerwell, maybe it would have opened Tinkerwell instead of opening normal Tinker that comes with Laravel out of the box. So maybe if you have Tinkerwell, it would be far more helpful than this. There is ways to use Xdebug, okay, and additional PHP extension. If we want to use additional extension, this is how we can use. So I mean the installation process is pretty straightforward, and the experience of migrating from Valet to Herd was pretty smooth. I would say I didn't even notice anything. What is the difference? I am using totally a different development environment. I was using Valet and now I am using Herd, but all the things that I had, all the commands I had, like Valet park, Valet restart, Valet stop, all those things are already available in Herd, which is quite a smooth transition, I would say. And if we go to the documentation in Laravel Valet, we can see that Laravel Valet documentation is already suggesting to use Laravel Herd, which makes sense because as it is claiming it is faster, so it is a faster environment. And I think for each and every site we have the option to use different version. For example, now if we use 8.1, so now we have 8.1 for my algorithms test and larablog.test. What was the whole environment? It is PHP 8.1, but it is showing PHP 8.2. So I believe Larablog is still using PHP 8.2. Is it the case? Let me reload the page. It is working. And if I open the code base, and here if I say something like PHP info, okay, die. Okay, great. It is saying that it is using PHP 8.2. But all other sites and everything is using PHP 8.1. So this was missing in Valet. So in Valet I tried to switch between, switch PHP versions. It was possible to switch the version, but if you switch the version for one site, it actually switched the version for all other sites, which is one of the great visible benefit of using Laravel Herd, which is a great thing. So I think we haven't tested it yet. Seamless migration, 100% agree. Easy manage of multiple PHP version, totally agree with that. Everything you need to get started, which is also something cool. You don't have to install PHP Nginx by yourself. If you install Herd and you have everything. So these are the 4 core features I would say. Let's try this fastest environment. As you have already seen, if I run PHP test, if I run the test, it takes 2.88 seconds, nearly 3 seconds. I want to run all those tests using, okay, they have some issues with the website. If I scroll up, it goes up infinitely. Anyway, if I go to the documentation, I have to run these commands to stop all this. That's not a good thing. There should be an option to hard stop. Yeah, it stops, so we don't need to stop hard by using this one, and all those things are stopped. If I quit and if I go back here, it doesn't run anymore. And if I start my Valet again, Valet start, as you can see, Valet start actually takes a longer time than Laravel Herd, which is also already a visible performance improvement in Laravel Herd, which is great. And now if we reload the page, it works. If we run the test, so in this video, right now I am using Valet. If I try to test again, it takes 2.7 seconds or something. But when I was using Laravel Herd, then it was taking 0.1 second. Doesn't matter that much. I don't see any improvement in the speed of running test, so I don't know. And I haven't tested any HTTP request. But apart from the speed, as I said multiple times already, that I'm already happy with the speed of Valet. I don't even need a faster environment. Valet is already fast enough. And if Laravel Herd is as fast as Valet, which is already good, on top of that, we can manage multiple versions for multiple domain and without managing any dependencies. I think that's what Laravel Herd is offering, and I'm quite happy with it. I think from now on I will mostly use Laravel Herd from my local development if I don't need Docker. If I need Docker for Laravel application, I will use Sail or maybe a custom Docker environment. I think it is a fun time to develop Laravel application using all this awesome environment. I hope you enjoyed this video going through all the features and functionalities of Laravel Herd. If you like my videos, feel free to subscribe. See you in the next one. Happy coding.